Hello there. This is the Light FM's Girl Talk podcast. My name's Carol.
This is Alicia.
I'm Tricia.
And we are so glad you are here. And we are so glad Tricia is
Yay!
here. She is back from her
so excited
trip
to see you today.
to India. We missed you so much.
Oh, I missed you all too.
And because so many of our Girl Talk girlfriends were a part of your trip, we wanted to just kind of give a little update because we talked a lot about fear right before you left, and we wanted to kind of update everybody and see how things went. And so, take it away.
Well, let me first say thank you, and thank you some more for the prayers and the support.
Yeah.
I felt every prayer. I'm confident of it. Yes, it is amazing.
Feel that?
I felt such love and such peace and such support by people.
Yeah.
And as it sort of marched toward the day that we actually got on the airplane flight, I found myself being a little tense, a little short. You know, it was sort of right on the edge of anxiety, but still it was okay. And as we got closer and closer to the airport, I started to feel better and better.
Wow.
We parked at the airport. We take the shuttle in, and we're walking to our gate, and I can feel those prayers. I can truly feel those prayers. And the moment that I was probably most dreading was getting on that first airplane, sitting down in the seat, buckling the seatbelt, and because that's sometimes when I've been fighting that feeling of being closed in.
Right.
When the door
can't
closes.
escape.
Right.
Yeah.
There was none of that.
That's awesome.
There was none of it. I'm so grateful, and I'm praising God and thanking you for your prayers. And He answered them, because as I sat down, I thought to myself, I feel better than I've felt in weeks.
That's awesome.
Better than I
That's
felt.
so great. Well, and I remember you saying you were praying, like when it got to be just a couple days before, you're like, I'm praying for complete healing.
Yes.
Not just for this trip, but complete healing. And I was like, I'm gonna start praying for that.
Yeah.
That's so specific and great. And I feel like that's what happened.
It really did. It really did, because if you think about it, I ended up having to take 8 different flights. I was in the air for 43 hours. In the air, that doesn't even include the airport.
I mean, think about how many days 43 hours is.
Yeah. And
It's
there
like
was
almost
such
2
peace.
days. Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there was such peace. At one point, I sat down and I was praying, and I was reading over verses, and I was listening to my music. I was doing all the things that we talked about.
Yeah.
And I could envision Jesus looking down and this warm yellow gold light coming, emanating. And then at that point, I was listening to the song Voice of Truth from Casting Crowns, and
Yeah.
it says, Jesus singing over me. And I said, that's it. He's singing over me.
Yeah.
That was that light. And it just felt so peaceful and so loving. And I never fought the anxiety that I so feared. And I'm just really grateful. And it was like a complete healing, because the last few flights, nothing. You know, just get in there the same way that I walk into the office or go into my house.
Yeah.
The level of anxiety was not there. And that is a healing.
Yeah.
That is a miraculous healing.
I even asked you this morning if you even enjoyed the flight, because that's when I started praying, like right before you left, like we were texting back and forth.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to pray for her to actually enjoy the flight. Like, and so I asked you this morning, I was like, did you enjoy the flight? And you're like, I kind of did.
Yeah. There were several moments of enjoyment on the flight. Yes, there were. So I'm so grateful for girlfriends who love and pray and support. That really, so, you know, there's nothing quite like that.
I think that it's great that you opened up about being afraid to fly, because sometimes we don't want to share our fears. And the fact that you did that, you were able to let us pray for you, and you opened it up wide with all the listeners. And I know we got messages through Facebook and some emails and texts saying that they were praying for you. So I would just encourage you, if you're listening and you're afraid of something, to share it with, even if it's just one person.
Yeah.
Share it and ask them to pray for you.
Because then it becomes your victory as well, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for you. We've been following your whole trip, and I was like, oh my gosh, Tricia's doing so well.
It is so interesting that you should mention that, because I sent you gals an email that we got this week from a gal who listened to the Girl Talk podcast, and she said, she actually said these words in the email. She said, I've never been one to tell anybody my problems. and she opened up about something, and we've been praying for her.
Yep.
And
Yes.
so I think it just is such a powerful thing that you just said when you know, if you're struggling with something, tell somebody, because then it opens up the door for you to be ministered to through that, and for you to see victories happen.
Shared victory.
And then you'll be able to share it like Tricia's doing now. You can share your victory and help someone else. So it's not like you just have to be this person that's taking everything. You'll one day be able to, through your story, to help somebody else.
So
Our
true.
scars give us purpose.
That's exactly right. Exactly
that's
right.
good.
Now, another thing that I want to talk about today is the whole reason that you went to India.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, we had a tremendous burden on our hearts here to do something about human trafficking, because it is running rampant here in the United States, all around the world. And so we were connected with a group called India Partners. And Tricia went this week to spend some time in Mumbai and in that area, the red light district, to see firsthand what it was like, and to see. Well, I'll just ask you, what kind of different viewpoint do you have now of that issue?
I'm so glad you're giving me an opportunity to talk about it, because it's heavy on my heart. First of all, in that society, women are devalued. In fact, in part of the culture, women are actually considered cursed. And so,
Just in general,
women
are cursed.
of any strata, of any caste in their caste system. You know, they have this caste system. They have to register their caste with the government, and they're not able to leave that caste. They're not able to get a job or anything that goes above and beyond their caste. So they're locked into this particular strata. But I was shocked at what it felt like to be in that scenario, to have people kind of push you around and not listen to you. And I had to ask for things like 3 times more than any of the males that were with us, just even in, you know, a restaurant or something like that. It was fascinating. And so I think about what the women undergo on a daily basis there, and it does affect my heart. So I went there, and I wasn't sure really what to expect. I'd seen pictures and I'd heard stories, but I think on some level I still thought maybe my life was different than them, and I'm different than them on some way. And when I went into that area and we walked through what's considered the red light district, and we walked through with some of the workers from India Partners who know these women, who minister to them, who give them vaccinations, who give them houseplants, who love on them and pray for them. So they're very happy to see us come through. And I looked into the faces of these women, and I was absolutely struck with the fact that they are just like me. There is no different from them to me. And we looked at each other like one woman to another woman, and I had something on my dress, and somebody helped me, take care of my dress, and then another lady asked me to pray for her headache. And it was just women relating. It was like girl talk, women relating to women, and they were precious and they were beautiful, and I could see in their eyes this sense of hope. And even so, as we walked through, there were little like rooms off of this street, and I caught a glimpse, at least in one of the rooms, and you could see like a dirty mattress. And it just reminded me, wow, what they have to undergo. And many times they had no idea. They're tricked into being in this position. They were sold by a relative. What happens is these people in remote areas, very poor areas, they don't have a sense of hope. They don't have any way of getting out of their situation. And then someone will come in with not great motives, and they'll say, hey, your daughter over there, I can get her a new life. I can get her a job in the city where she's cleaning houses, and she's going to have a future and a hope. And the parents are like, oh, well, I want my daughter to have a future and a hope. And so they, trusting, give their daughter to this person who then sells her
Do they
to
know
this trade. No, they don't know.
Like later, do they ever find out?
I don't think so, because there's not a lot of back and forth.
So they just think they've sent their daughter off to a better place.
A better life.
To a big city to get a good job and to
But the reality
succeed.
is
She's enslaved.
She's now.
And she can't get out of it, because the way they work the money, they are paid, but they're never paid enough to pay their way out because they have an owner. And it's a terrible, horrible slave system, and they can't get out of it. And what then happens is they have children because of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the children have nowhere to go. They have no possibility of education. They literally play in the street with sticks because they have nowhere to go, and their mom can't leave. And so of course they have no hope, and so then they look and they say, well, my future is what my mother does.
Oh my goodness.
And that's how it propagates. And that's why India Partners is coming in and they're stopping that, and they're taking these kids out and giving them education and telling them about the love of Jesus Christ. And it's stopping that cycle.
So how did you feel, like, just you sharing your story right now? You saying, they're no different than us, right?
Yeah.
It's just their circumstance of where they are in that system. They're kind of locked in. How did it make you feel that you were visiting there and you felt like they were just like you, but you got to go home?
Well, you have a tremendous amount of guilt. Like, why do I get to be so lucky?
That's what I'm thinking as you're telling the story.
Oh, yeah. It weighs heavy on you. And you think, why do I get to go and stay in, the hotel while they stay there on that dirty mattress? And it does break your heart. And so, what do you do with guilt? Well, I think you just see what it is that you can do to help in that situation, and that is trying to tell them about the love of Jesus Christ and pray for them and do whatever I can do to help stop that cycle.
Yeah. And I remember, I don't remember if it was last year or year before, when we talked about the children hiding under the bed while the mom was.
They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. But God brings people like India Partners along. And you also got to witness what India Partners, as they go in and build relationships with these women and say, okay, we have a safe place we can take your child. And so they take the children from there. And tell us what you saw at these safe houses that we've had a part of helping. One, we helped build, I think.
Yes.
We helped build. And then the other, we helped to we made sure that the kids could stay there.
Yes.
So tell us what that was like.
Well, so just to paint the background of that, the reason is when they bring children into these rescue houses, it's not just for a year or 2 years. They're committing to help them through getting into like college.
Wow.
I mean, they are not just, it's not like a quick, hey, here you go, good luck for the rest of your life. They see them through. So the continued support is helping continue this path of transformation, both on a spiritual level, but also economically. So what I saw could be best summed up in one word, and that word is joy. Joy. These little boys and girls could not stop hugging us, could not stop thanking us for the support that you've helped give, and taking us around and saying, look at my bed. This is my bed. And look, here's my Bible. Here's my desk where I do my studies. They speak English, and they are amazing. Yeah. They sang and they danced for us. And just like my children, my children be excited. Look, I got an A in spelling. They were like, look, she got a handwriting award. Come here, see this. Look, she's so good in math. They brag on each other.
That's amazing.
Because they have become a family.
Yeah.
They have lost a lot of what we consider a family, but they have bonded together in a way that is so beautiful and are so supportive of one another. And the joy of Jesus Christ comes through them. They don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
We look around at these homes that they have, and they're great, but they're sparse.
Yeah.
And they couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
They could not be more proud of it.
I want you to tell the story about the little girl who'd just been rescued, and about how she was acclimating to this new situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is the newest member in this
And how old was she?
safe home. I think she's 7. Her name was Mahek. And they told us about her before we met her. So I kind of had her backstory. But when I saw her, my heart literally melted into the floor. So she's really small. I think her growth is stunted. And they found her because she was out on the street day after day after day, hours and hours playing with sticks in the dirt with nowhere to go, no shoes, not enough stuff to wear. And so one of the India Partners workers went up to her and started to talk to her and ended up meeting her mother and talking to the mother, and it was decided. So the mother gets to choose whether or not the child goes to the rescue houses, and they continue a relationship. They have phone calls. They can see them. It's not like they're, no longer seeing them anymore, but they're just taken to a safe place. And so they made the decision that Mahek would go to the safe house. And so she went to the house. She's only been there for like 3 months. So I wasn't sure, what it was going to be like to see her. Well, when I saw her, she was so happy. Her smile never left her face. And she was holding hands with another girl who kind of took her under her wing like a sister would. And they were running around, and they couldn't wait to show me where they stayed and where they lived. And they had like little stuffed animals, and they showed us their stuffed animals. Turns out she had been there for just a few hours, and they were concerned. How is she acclimating? Are you doing okay? Do you miss your mom? She said, I am so happy. I am just so happy to be here. And she is radiant. And that's the thing it's transforming their lives. And then, of course, the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only are they safe, but they learn that they are loved by a heavenly Father, that they have a plan and a hope for their future and an eternal future. And so it transforms them from the outside in, and it glows from their faces.
I can only imagine, kids love to learn. I think naturally kids love to learn. Not every kid loves school, but they all want to learn, and they have that thirst and that hunger for it. So I can only imagine these little kids that have literally nothing. If they're in the streets and playing with the stick and have nothing, if they get this opportunity to learn about all these things, because they go to school too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They get an excellent education, which is transformative. They would not be in school any other way.
Yeah.
No school. So imagine that.
Yeah, because they're so little. I mean, to never have school, I can't even imagine. They would have no vision for. They would have no concept to have a vision for something that they could do with their life other than what they see.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Yeah,
right
love that.
Well, that is why this day is so important and passionate. We're so passionate about it because you are truly making a difference through your partnership with India Partners. If you want to be a part of providing days of safety for these children, it's real simple. All you got to do is text the word India to 800-293-1069. We will send you a link that will allow you to give online. You can find out more information. But we just wanted to come and give you a behind-the-scenes look of Tricia's trip, which I think it's so cool that God taught you about freedom on the plane.
Yes.
And then he's teaching those girls about freedom, too, so we can all live in freedom. And that is a universal concept that we want you to get here on the Girl Talk podcast. And so we're very passionate about India Partners. We're excited about what God's doing through that ministry. And we're excited that you joined us today for the Girl Talk podcast. So once again, if you want to get more information about India Partners and the work they're doing, text the word India to 800-293-1069. Thank you, Tricia, for sharing with us. We're so glad you're home. We missed you so much.
I missed you, and thank you again for those prayers. God answered them.
It was our pleasure, and we'll see you back here next time on the Girl Talk podcast.